The young NFL quarterbacks are running wild and their card prices are too. We are back with another Fanatics Football Friday, which starts now. All right, hello everyone and welcome back to another Fanatics Football Friday. It's been a couple of months, but work has died down a little bit, and I figured I would bring you another episode while I had some time. Hopefully everyone had a great Christmas. Maybe you got some Christmas funds and you're looking to spend a little bit of that side money on some football cards. So let's jump on over to Fanatics Collect. This is weekly auction number 206. I sorted by the highest price and let's go check out some football cards. So the very first one that I want to highlight is the one that currently has the highest bid as I'm recording a couple of days before the auction ends. And that is Drake May. Now, I know that we're early in the auction, but boy, oh boy, who would have thought that months ago this would have been the first card that we see? So this is his Kaboom out of Absolute, the vertical, the PSA 10, already at $4,600. Fanatics occasionally will put an eye appeal tag on these, and they believe that this is in the top 15% of eye appeal cards for what that's worth. Let's go take a little bit deeper of a dive about this card in particular. You can see that his total pop of PSA grades is 26. Then you've got some B's for BGS at 7, and then SGA coming in, or SGC coming in rather. But 15 of the 26 are graded 10. So let's take a look at the price of these. So one of these sold just a few weeks ago through this Fanatics auction for $12,000 for this Kaboom. Can you believe it? 12 grand. Now, the highlight here is look back not too far ago. So even at the beginning of November and in October, you can see this card selling for the PSA 10 under $7,000. We go back further before the season started, and boy, those prices just nowhere near what the recent sale of this was. How about we go back even to April in the off season, $4,700 for this. And then most recently at $12,000. Boy, quarterback still reigns supreme, and people just love to gamble and prospect. I mean, this guy has never won a playoff game. They're not even the number one seed as we currently talk in the NFL. But man, people love to prospect on their quarterbacks, and this, of course, is no different. Two of the first three cards, as a matter of fact, are Drake May, including a green sparkle mosaic. Great card. It's a PSA 9, but what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh man, those New England Patriots, they are very lucky with quarterbacks. He is incredible, and he does look very good. Perhaps the cream of that draft class, the cream of the crop. Boy, oh boy, a year ago, who would have thought that we would have been saying that? So let's continue down. The next one that I want to take a look at is this Jim Brown at a 58 top. So this is a PSA 6. I think I've got this card pulled up here on Card Ladder. So the PSA 6, the last sale for this was over $2,000 just about a week ago. So the pop report under 1,000 for Jim Brown, one of the greatest running backs of all time. You can see the total PSA population, just over 6,000 of these cards. 800 are graded this 6. Boy, no 10s. Not entirely surprising. I mean, the card's almost 70 years old, but pretty incredible card of a mostly forgotten one of the greatest running backs of all times. Now, if this card sells for around $2,000, which the most recent sale was, just think about that. One of the greatest running backs of all time sells for $2 grand. Then you have a Drake May Kaboom selling for $12,000. Now, time's going to tell what's going to become of Drake May, and of course, you're not comparing apples to apples at all here with modern player versus a more historical figure. And the cards, of course, are very different. But boy, if I was trying to explain this to my wife or someone off the street, I think it would just blow their mind, which always fascinates me. And also why I love to learn about pricing of these cards and what things are doing. So let's continue to scroll. And no surprise here, we see more Mahomes, Herbert, and Brady, NTRPAs, Kaboom, and then flawless 1 of 1. So no surprise there. We get more Kabooms. Now we pull up and see our first Caleb Williams card. So let's stop and talk about this one. just for a moment. Let's open this one up. So this is a 2024 Phoenix Color Blast. Now, Color Blast is really interesting with Panini. It's one of these inserts that has seemed to pop just like the Downtowns and the Kabooms, and they've really seemed to distribute these Color Blasts into various products. We've seen them with Prism, and I believe we've even seen them in Obsidian as well, but here we're seeing it in Phoenix. Of course, a little bit different background where you don't just get the mist of the Color Blast. Here you're getting in the shape of the Phoenix. It is a good looking card, I'll give you that. I've never particularly been in love with the Phoenix brand, but I think this is the best card that comes out of Phoenix. It's a good looking card for a Caleb Williams. You can see the rookie card badge, which I always like to see that. I wish it popped a little more, but that's a pretty good looking card. And with how the Bears have been playing and Caleb, boy, that team is really on the right track, and just goes to show you what a difference a head coach can make. Because, you know, one person who's going to be very proud of this card and where it ends up and where the Bears go is Caleb's dad. And I think it's been very well documented, at least here where I'm currently living in Utah. Cam Rising, Caleb's dad, has just been so proud of his son and what he's grown up to become, especially, you know, with some of the public beatdowns that Cam Rising gave Caleb when he was at USC. So good to see Caleb finally winning one for himself. All right, let's continue on. We see Bo Nix make an appearance for the first time. Now, this is interesting. We've seen Caleb. We've obviously talked about Drake May, but Bo showing up for the first time with a white sparkle prism is just interesting. Currently, the Broncos are the #1 seed in the AFC and host the best record in the NFL. I am a Broncos fan. Obviously, I've mentioned that before, but Bo just doesn't get the same type of recognition, at least in conversation about this quarterback class. And it seems as though in the card world as well, as Caleb, as Jaden Daniels did last year, and then of course, as Drake May is now. And he's not putting up as good of stats. He had a good game against the Packers a couple weeks ago. But it's just interesting. You know, you take a step back and look at this a few years from now. Where's Bo Nix going to fall amongst those 4 or 5 quarterbacks out of that draft class? And we'll see. As we continue on, another Jim Brown, this one in PSA 4. We see Jaden Daniels making an appearance. And boy, he's had a tough year with injury. And let's just hope that over time his body holds up and he continues to be one of the great quarterbacks to come out of that draft class and eventually a great quarterback in the NFL. But boy, you got to worry about those hits. Okay, so here's another interesting point. We got Josh Allen rookie blue that color matches the Buffalo Bills blue. We've got this one being autographed, as opposed to a Drake May, which is Patriots color match. Both of these seem to have that kind of choice, either the blue scope or the red choice. They look very similar. Which one would you rather have? And for me, it's a no-brainer. Give me the Josh Allen as opposed to the Drake May. Currently, the Allen has far more bids. The Drake May going for more money. So time will tell on that. I promise I'll get off the Drake May train here in just a second. So let's continue on. We see Terry Bradshaw make an appearance. We see booklets. Now, booklets are so hard for me, and I'm very curious what you guys think about these because they're fun to open. Say that you're ripping a box and you see a booklet because you typically know that there's going to be some type of nice patch or multiple patches and usually an autograph that comes inside. So it builds excitement, but it seems like the display of these booklets can be very difficult, and it seems like they just don't sell for as much and are not as coveted by collectors as standalone vertical cards. In this case, you get the full laundry tag, which is pretty cool, and then you get the autograph of an entirely separate card over here. But there's no way that this booklet is going to go for the same price of even what a standalone, single card, small patch auto would. And I don't know if it's because of the display or it's just abnormal for what we tend to collect and what people have grown up collecting, but that's been a fascinating piece for me. Now, of course, as I say that, the very next row is one that goes for a lesser price currently of that exact card. So we'll see, and maybe I'll be eating crow by the end of this. Trevor Lawrence, this guy was written off last year. Boy, he's had quite the resurgence, and he looked really good the last couple of weeks. Really good. I mean, he can move, he can throw. You're starting to see some accuracy from him. And again, maybe coaching change truly matters for these quarterbacks. maybe something to pay attention to, especially if you're someone who doesn't just player or team collect. Maybe you're trying to prospect, which I gave up doing long ago after Drew Lock and many others. But boy, those head coaches sure seem to be able to make or break a player. Get Hurts, Brady, get more quarterbacks, which is of no surprise. This is a pretty nice tops now. What do you guys think of dual and triple autos, especially for people on separate teams? You know, in the moment for rookies, it can be a lot of fun, but it just feels like rarely do all of the autographs on the card after their career is said and done, does it fully play out to be a truly stellar card. But really fun. That's a great piece. Someone is really going to enjoy that, especially a football fan. You got the Topps football rookie emblem on there. Boy, JJ McCarthy. How about him? I completely forgot about him earlier in talking about quarterbacks. He looks like he could probably use a little more time to catch up to the other guys, but we see him make his first appearance. We get Rome Odunze. Again, those Bears playing well. It's a pretty good dark color match there. Just with the black and the jersey. So we see Amir Gibbs. Oh, there's little Caleb Rising again, right up in there on Fight Song. That one's pretty fun. I think if you're a USC fan, that would be a lot of fun to have. I don't know that I've seen this insert before, this Fight Song. And tell you what, I have 2022 Bowman. Being a University of Utah guy, I went there for all of my training, so 11 years. I would be very curious to see if there is a Fight Song University of Utah Cam Rising. And if someone has one and it is low numbered, please hit me up and I would be very interested in making that purchase. All right, let's continue on. We see stained glass. Those cards are always beautiful out of Mosaic. That's a pretty good looking card. I think Ricky would like that one a lot. Make sure he keeps an eye on that. We get more kabooms. All right, let's go on over to page 2. And as we do that, I want to remind you, if you're enjoying this content, or at least like watching football cards and want to see more of it, please click like down below. You can always subscribe so that you'll know each and every time that I drop one of these episodes. And if you have an idea of how we can improve this content, I'm all ears. Make sure to leave it in the comments below. The beginning of page 2, this is a big one. And I like this one a lot. This Tom Brady Flawless. Let's go ahead and open this one up. Out of 2014 Flawless, of course, the first year of Flawless football. This should be a game-worn patch. And it says right there on the front, game-worn 3-color patch of Tom Brady. That's a pretty card. And I think it's a very good reminder. Most people know this, but out of all the patches that we see nowadays that are coming out in modern times, most of them are not game worn. Usually they're not even player worn. And I just think as time goes on, especially in football, hopefully Topps can bring that back. But if you're a Panini collector and you like football, there's only a few years when you know that you're going to get game used material. And you get one from Tom Brady's playing years. For me, I think this is a massive card. And even though I am a Denver Broncos fan and there were some epic battles between Tom Brady and the Broncos, I likely will be bidding on this card. In fact, let's just go ahead and keep an eye on it. Let's continue on. The Mosaic, Micro Mosaic. Now, this is a pretty good looking card. To be completely honest with you, I don't know that I've held one in hand, but I think Mosaic, with some of their inserts, have really done well, and this is one of them. That's really a good looking card. This is a piece of art. I love the rookie badge. I love, if you're a Bears fan, you get to see the logo on there. I think it's a great looking card. You know, for people who speculate for in the future, looking back, what's going to be one of the more prominent chase hits to go after, it would not surprise me at all if someone told me Micro Mosaics were on that list. Not at all. All right, a dual signer. Oh, I just talked about this last page of how rare does it ever work out that you get two people who are great. This one, of course, produced well after the time in 2007, but you get a Dickerson and Barry Sanders. That's a good-looking card. Walter Payton rookie. Well, let's take a look at this Mike Evans patch. So 2014 National Treasures, and typically early on in Panini's run with football, most of these were either game used, as I mentioned, or sometimes at their rookie photo shoot. But here we see player worn. It's too bad. I wish they would give a little more info, but still player worn is better than even what you get today. And you get the top of that pirate ship, which is such an incredible patch, an on-card autograph. It's a B is for Beckett 9.5. That is a beautiful card of one of the greatest receivers in Bucs history. Is he the greatest receiver in Bucs history? I think he might be. Is there someone I'm forgetting? And probably a Hall of Famer as well. Ooh, that's a pretty card. Pretty card for a lot of different reasons. That catches my interest for sure. Another Phoenix Color Blast makes an appearance. What else do we have of note? Boy, JSN has really had a huge year. Wide receivers often don't get the love in football cards from a price standpoint. You know, it seems to me that there's even a drop-off between running back and wide receiver, and most definitely a drop-off between quarterback and running back. But boy, JSN is having a great season, and this, is not bid up much right now. This would be a fun one to watch to see what he does. And I think aside from Rome Odunze that we saw one of on the last page, and Mike Evans that we just looked at, is he the only other receiver that we've seen so far? Just kind of goes to show you what people look for. Malik Neighbors up next. Boy, Baker's had a tough second part of his season. What do you think is going to become of Baker Mayfield, just in general? I mean, he's had such a wild ride throughout his career. Even the beginning of this season, the hopes were high for the Bucs. He performed really well for the first half of the season, and they have had a pretty epic collapse. And I enjoy watching him play when he plays well, but boy, it just makes you wonder, what's happened. So fun one to watch. Let's continue on. We see another booklet of Jamar Chase. Boy, that's a good looking booklet. This is probably even a better example, this Lamar Jackson, of what I was talking about earlier with the laundry tag and the autograph, to compare this versus the booklet. So perhaps next week we can go back and compare the booklet versus the standard card from a pricing standpoint. Where do you guys stand on uptowns and downtowns? Personally, for me, as this is the first time I've even mentioned, I think we've scrolled past a couple. I really, really enjoyed the first downtowns. I enjoyed the art, the creativity, where artists would incorporate not only the player, the city, and even the team that they played for, but I feel like there has been just so much of uptown and downtown that really it's taken the excitement out of what I'm seeing. And so it just doesn't grab me the same as they did a couple of years ago. All right, let's keep on going. We get more quarterbacks, and Trevor Lawrence started to make an appearance. And again, that does not surprise me in the slightest. Guys, he looked really good. Like really good. Like that team could go far in the playoffs really good. Speaking of going far, Sean Watson. Boy, look at this. This is a shield, a 101 non-card autograph. Oh man, and the price of his cards have just been massaged down, 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 and really rubbed as far as they can go. To me, I'm surprised that only $135 for this hands-on experience, and I just wonder how much more you'd have to pay for this to get this one-of-a-kind service, or Star Swatch signatures. So Deshaun Watson fans, if you're still out there, there's an opportunity for you. All right, let's continue on. Let's go on over to page 3. And as we do this and this gets set up, I want to remind viewers here, of course, of our main show, the Pack to the Future podcast. And if you want to help support us, I want to remind you to go on over to our website, pttfpodcast.com. Each and every time that you go to buy cards, if you are going to eBay to buy your cards, so say you step away from this Fanatics Collect experience, you can click on our eBay affiliate link anywhere on our page. As long as you're logged in, everything that you buy in the next 24 hours, at no extra cost for you, the show will get a little commission in the feedback, and that is really the way that you can help support the show. Ricky and I both greatly appreciate it. That's over at pttfpodcast.com. All right, let's continue. Sam Darnold making his first appearance. Boy, he is not being talked about at all this year. And with the massive win that the Seahawks just had over the Rams, there is a chance that they are going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Darnold getting no love. I talked about Bo Nix not getting the love. My goodness, Sam Darnold not getting the love. Now, I think everyone kind of saw his epic collapse. I don't want to say collapse. Everyone saw his performance at the end of last year. That offensive line could not block for him. He was seeing ghosts. And I think that stands out in people's minds. But the fact here that you've got a 1-of-1 national treasures, Sam Darnold, and it's only at $125. It's a rookie signature as well. I mean, come on. I know it's tough. I know he's not in a Seahawk jersey and he's in a Jets. No one likes to buy minor league cards, but hey, that one's still looking good. All right, Stroud. So still just quarterbacks going nuts. Let's take a look at this next card, which is not this one. It is Emmett Smith. So this pro set, Emmett Smith. Now, if you're roughly my age, so I'm 42, this is right around the time that I started collecting cards. And if you're like me, you probably had a lot of pro set. Now, Emmett Smith is arguably the greatest running back of NFL history. He is the leader, I believe, in yards and touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. The fact that this card's only $110 got me wondering, like, what's the pop count? What are these things selling for? So I go to PSA and I checked out the pop report. This is card number 685 in this pro set. There are 7,700 total graded cards of this Emmett Smith. 10% of them nearly are PSA 10s. It's a pretty high percentage for such an old card. But it got me thinking, with Emmett Smith potentially being the greatest, at least running back in the NFL, let's do a non-apples to apples comparison for this. So I pulled up Jordan. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, quarterbacks have dominated our conversation today. Quarterbacks dominate price over running backs. However, let's just take a look at pop counts. Just entertain me and humor me here for a second. 26,000 Michael Jordan rookie cards have been graded. About 1% of them make it a PSA 10. So 332 PSA 10s to 770 and 10% PSA 10. So we're definitely not comparing apples to apples. But what I want to show you is just how insanely far off the price is of an Emmett Smith PSA 10 to a Michael Jordan PSA 10. We all know that the Jordan PSA 10s have had wild fluctuations over the last 5 years, but sell for tens of thousands of dollars. What do you think the Emmett sells for? $200. $200 for the greatest running back of all time. It just feels like that number is stupid low. I get it. It's Pro Set. I used to have Pro Set. I probably still have so much Pro Set just stuffed into those white boxes right up inside of my office closet right here. Corners dinged. I probably use them to start fires when I go camping, which I never do. But it's still the greatest running back of NFL history. It's a perfect PSA 10, and it's selling for far less than you could buy just about any hobby box of cards for today. That one stood out to me a lot. All right, let's see if anything else stands out to us through this page. Keon Coleman, boy, that's a good looking card. He's kind of had a tough year and hopefully he bounces back. We see another Jim Brown. This Caleb Rising, 1 of 1 dual patch, looks really good. Peyton making a showing for the first time. And this Bowman's Best autograph, this PSA 9. Justin Jefferson, Caleb, boy, Bijan Robinson, for a player with his skill set, and I know the Falcons have had a rough year, I think there's probably a lot of room for his cards to improve in value. What else do we have here? We've got another Absolute Glass. We've talked about those in the past. Boy, this Snapshot is a beautiful looking card of Select. And I think Cameron Ward, boy, he sure hasn't got a lot of love this year. It's hard when you play for the Titans and the team isn't good, but it could be a little bit of a sleeper. I mean, it's a 1 of 1. It is the national super factor, so people don't always love that offshoot, but interesting card, and someone's going to get a nice piece there. All right, let's finish up there. So that's going to do it for this week. Are you going to be bidding on any of these cards? If so, let me know what you're chasing down below. Again, if you enjoyed the content, please hit the thumbs up. It makes me feel warm and special, and hopefully, just hopefully, I think I've got my work schedule figured out so we can continue to do these in the future. Hope you learned a little something. I sure did. I'll see you back next week for another Fanatics Football Friday.